What's going on, Ewan, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mav bringing you back to another hashtag Skull Nation meeting. You know what I'm saying? Today we're going to react to Kirk Cousins returns to face the Vikings. As you know, we host the Atlanta Falcons this weekend at US Bank Stadium. Kirk is coming back to Minnesota for the first time since signing to the Falcons. I'm indifferent towards Kirk. You know, a lot of fans hated him. A lot of fans liked him. Me, I was indifferent because I'm a fan of the purple and gold first. And I surely hope that, you know, we pull out a dub against him because if you guys didn't know last week, Kirk had Falcons fans regretting they ever signed him just like we regretted signing him. Because he was playing like 2 packs of ass last week against the LA Chargers. 2 packs of it. 2 packs of ass. So, like, he had 244 yards, no touchdowns. This is the 3rd week in a row. No touchdowns, but 4 picks. Let's see if that no touchdown streak continues this week. But let's see if realistic Randy thinks that no touchdown streak is going to be broken. But yeah, like I said, the fan base was split on him. I'm pretty sure the Falcons fans base is split on him too. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. Play.
It's Kirk Cousins week as the Minnesota Vikings host the Atlanta Falcons at US Bank Stadium this upcoming Sunday, with this video brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. It's funny how this has come full circle immediately after Kirk's departure. The Vikings this year are kicking damn near every set of ass that you can think of that stands in front of Minnesota's way. Waiting for the Detroit Lions, keeping up on pace with them, but waiting for them to slip up to have a chance to capture the illustrious #1 seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, they have been every set of ass that you can think of. If they do make it into the playoffs,
that shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
Playing in one of
He said every set of ass. I told y'all, like, you know, the Falcons looked like 2 packs of ass last week.
the worst divisions in football, the NFC South. I can see that division being won at 8 and 9. That if they do make it, they're just gonna barely get in. Certainly not as a wild card. And you remember the discourse at last year's season's end? Do you sign Kirk Cousins or not to a contract extension? And amongst the fan base, it was a dead even split. It was very divided. And clearly,
it's like I told y'all, we were split on Kirk, just like how the Falcons fan base is right now.
The Vikings made the right call. Reportedly, they made an offer to Kirk Cousins, but I think they did that out of respect. That they made him an offer that they knew he would refuse. They certainly weren't going to get into a bidding war for Cousins with the Atlanta Falcons, but they made the right call. They signed Sam Darnold. They drafted J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings, with Kirk Cousins' $28.5 million dead cap hit this year, having Sam Darnold in 2024, 23 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Kirk Cousins, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Vikings 10-2. The Falcons, they're 6-6, having a fart off between them and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Which brings me to, if the playoffs were to start today, the Vikings, who are clearly far and away better than the Atlanta Falcons, the Vikings would be the 5 seed because Detroit, they are a game up on Minnesota, and Minnesota, would have to travel to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to play the Falcons. And I understand how the playoff format has been forever. It's time to switch it up, man. Realign how seeding works. Because if you did it like how the NBA does it, where it's like, hey, seeding works regardless of what division you're in. The top 7 teams, talking about the NFL, the top 7 teams are in order based off of their record and tiebreakers. Division be damned. So if you were to take that model, the Lions would be 1. The Eagles would be 2 because they have a better conference record, even though they played an extra game. in the conference compared to the Vikings, but they would be 2. The Vikings would be 3, and the Packers would be 4. Then you get Washington at 5, Seattle at 6, and the Atlanta Falcons, that last spot in the NFC, they would be the 7th seed. This makes too much sense, which is exactly why the NFL will never agree to this. But from a competitive standpoint, I believe this is what is best for the sport of football. But if I were to argue...
Yeah, get rid of the divisions like the NBA damn near did. Like, division titles don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of those, and you'll have the real best teams competing one to another, depending on seeding. You know what I'm saying? It did dividends for the NBA in the 2010s and going forward. So, but you know, people love to talk division rivalries. So, I guess
with Roger Goodell and the 32 owners across the league, because I understand how they think. They only see things through a business perspective, and I can talk business through a business lens. This realignment would make for better TV.
Facts.
You would have a home playoff game at Detroit, at Philly, at US Bank Stadium, the new 12 of the NFL, and at Lambeau Field. Instead, you're not going to, right now as it stands, you're not going to get a home playoff game at US Bank Stadium or Lambeau Field. Instead, you're going to get it at Seattle.
Mercedes-Benz.
The struggling Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. Come on, man. Explain to me why bum-ass Mercedes-Benz Stadium with this crappy-ass team is better for business. Explain why. Oh.
Atlanta has a bigger market than Minneapolis, bro. That's how it's better for business. Seattle has a bigger market, you know what I'm saying, and on top of that as well, you know what I mean? What more can I say to that?
You're going to tell me it's because we're going to have Ludacris and 21 Savage performing at halftime. Okay. Kirk Cousins' last 3 games, 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4 interceptions last week against the LA Chargers. Sam Darnold's last 3 games, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The exact opposite of one another. And I understand how with the history of bad juju with this franchise that stat of these 2 quarterbacks the last 3 games naturally would have Vikings fans thinking, oh boy, this means Kirk Cousins, he's due to finally have his great game when he's not playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you got to shake that. This is a new era of Vikings football. The Atlanta.
I would be scared if Mike Zimmer was still the damn coach. That's the only reason I would be scared. But since we are underneath Kevin O'Connell with B-Flow as the D-Cord, I am not scared of no dirty birds, okay?
The Falcons, and talking about Kirk Cousins and how it was the right move to let him go because he literally does not move the needle. In fact, if anything, he moves the needle in the opposite direction that you want it to move because he's an expensive quarterback, so you have to sacrifice elsewhere because of this guy that doesn't change a damn thing. Last year, through the first 12 games, the Falcons were 6-6. Now, this year,
still 6-6.
First 12 games with Kirk Cousins, the Falcons are also 6-6. And I tell you what, Kirk, after the Vikings whoop on that ass, you and your cowardice attitude and your no trade clause can get the hell up out of US Bank Stadium.
Yes.
Good riddance. Sign up for a BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Get a 100.
And to think, the media was hating on him when he was a Viking. But now that he left, they dick rode him and said we were going to be terrible without him. Look at us now. We're 10-2. 10-2. While his team is what? 500?
50% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Just use the promo code YouTube150. The Vikings, they are 5-point favorites over the Falcons, and I'm going to take that spread all day long. The Vikings, they have the better quarterback, they have the better team. They will smash the Falcons, and I'm going to say it confidently at the risk of looking absolutely stupid.
Yeah, because realistically, all Kirk is good for is beating up on bad teams and, you know, struggling against good ones. And hell, he'll even have he won't even beat up on bad teams. He will have like a bad half. You know what I'm saying? And then just do the comeback shit.
At the end result, my official prediction, Vikings win 27-13. It's not going to be even close. So give me the Vikings -5 over the Falcons. Will Reichert end up playing? It seems like there's a good chance that he will practice this week. He started off as a full participant.
I actually heard him and Andrew DePaolo were pretty. I actually heard him and Andrew DePaolo's practices went pretty good, so I'm confident that they'll get back in the lineup this week as far as our special teams go. Not saying that JPR hasn't been doing great. Like, JPR has been amazing, but we need Will to throw back in there, kicking from long.
Hammer down this tape, no matter how ridiculous it may seem. Regardless of Reichert's status, you have to keep John Parker Romo. You have to keep these two kickers because it is more valuable keeping these two kickers on this Vikings roster than cutting John Parker Romo in favor of guys like Ed Ingram or at the end of the bench players who respectfully don't matter when it comes to the impact of the success of this team. It could end up biting you in the ass because John Parker Romo, he's not going to clear waivers. He has been great. Teams that are in dire kicking situations that would not think twice about picking him up off waivers, the Atlanta Falcons,
Giants,
the LA Rams, possibly the Eagles. Jake Elliott, he's been struggling this year, and that's in the NFC. Let's say you make it to the Super Bowl, the Baltimore Ravens with Justin Tucker. Don't let this move, this decision, as untraditional as it is to have two kickers on your roster, don't let this end up coming back to possibly end your season in the playoffs. And going back to the Sam Darnold situation, do you sign him to a contract extension? Talked about that on Monday. I want to expound on that.
I'm shuffling my shoulders.
The NFL is a system league, the exact opposite of the NBA, where in the NBA you can win just off of pure talent, even if you have an idiot coach. The NFL
True.
is the opposite. Coaching, scheme, play design.
And as a testament to what he says, look at the 2008 Boston Celtics. They won in spite of Doc Rivers, not because of Doc Rivers. Think.
It matters more than everything else. Then we can talk about talent after. Nick Foles led the Eagles to a Super Bowl title with Doug Peterson. That following year, they also had a playoff run, damn near made it to the NFC Championship game in back-to-back years. And before that, he was a journeyman quarterback.
If it wasn't for him throwing that pick to Marshawn Lattimore, we'd be talking a whole different conversation about Nick Foles.
Brady said years ago on what was the SVP and Russillo show that if I weren't drafted by New England, I would probably be on my 5th or 6th team by now.
Facts.
System league.
Facts.
There are few exceptions to that rule that can shatter the mold. And I talked about this on my second channel, Double R Football. If you're not subscribed to that or if you haven't checked it out, be sure to do so. We talk all things football outside of the Vikings because obviously Vikings related stuff we're going to keep on this channel, but we have a great time. I'll have the link to that channel, Double R Football, in the description of this video. But there are a few examples of quarterbacks where they are the system.
Facts.
Sam Darnold, he's balling out, having his career best season. And although the circumstances are vastly different in a weird way, eerily, it's very similar, Sam Darnold now, to Case Keenum in 2017.
It is.
The system for Case Keenum in 2017.
I kind of said that, despite my prediction being just 10 wins, with this defense and the skill players around Sam Darnold, me and a lot of other guys were saying, like, Sam Darnold could have a Case Keenum type of year here. I'm serious. I just hope it doesn't end with NFC Championship loss. Like I either want a Super Bowl win or a divisional round loss. I can't take another NFC Championship loss, guys. I can't. Anyway, let's let Randy continue.
17 was he had the best receiving duo in the league as well as the number one defense in the league. So the margin for error was so large for this guy. Sam Darnold now, the system for him is arguably the best collection of weapons along with 3 genius coaches on this coaching staff. Kevin O'Connell with his play design, Brian Flores calling the defense, and Josh McCown as the quarterback's coach. And when I say system drives success, you look at both of those quarterbacks, Case Keenum and Sam Darnold, before they got to Minnesota, both of those situations, journeyman quarterbacks. They get to Minnesota, they have their career best seasons, and it's not even close. Case Keenum after Minnesota never recaptured that magic.
Never.
And while I do believe Sam Darnold can have continued success with this team, with this coaching staff, is he really that much of a difference maker that bucks the system, costing you tens upon tens of millions of more dollars of what you're already paying him right now? I don't think so, which is why I would not sign him to a contract extension. I believe that this system will still thrive and still have success with J.J. McCarthy on his rookie deal. That way
and I'm going to tell you why it'll work with J.J. McCarthy. Because J.J. McCarthy has proven to be a mature learner on a road to winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, he thrived in Jim Harbaugh-led system. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say he was just a handoff merchant, but I've seen his arm talent. He's definitely a more accurate passer than Sam Darnold. And the arm is pretty live. But, you know what I'm saying, I would say if there's anything he has to work on is like protecting himself while he's scrambling. Because that's one thing he needs to work on. But other than that, he's pretty solid. You know, I only expect him to thrive once he starts getting some reps in with this regime. I mean, even though I think Brian Flores might be out of here next year to be a head coach again, but if they don't, but nobody hired hosts him for an interview for a head coaching job, then the NFL collusion is against him. It has to be proven true. You know, I'm gonna have to start shouting justice for Brian Flores in a minute here, but yeah, man, McCarthy's gonna thrive in this system. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Kevin O'Connell, you know, he's a player's coach and a quarterback's whisperer. Something Mike Zimmer wasn't, okay? If this was a Mike Zimmer-led team, I'd be really, really, really shaking in my boots. That's I'm going to say that again.
And spend that money elsewhere. But your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks to the folks at BetUS.
Alrighty, well, that's the end of this one. But yeah, man, as far as I'm concerned, you know what I'm saying, the Vikings should be able to win. You know what I'm saying? Because John Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel are having Pro Bowl caliber years right now with the on the edge. And then, like, you know, Harrison Phillips in the middle. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely going to hold down that run. Because our run defense is ranked 4th in the league right now, I think. And then, as far as our defense against the pass, you know what I'm saying, like I said, we got rushers and we got guys that can cover. Stephon Gilmore may be out, so that means Fabian Moreau may get some reps. Maybe Dwight McGlothern gets some reps here and there, but Shaq is going to have to take care of the outside one cornerback. Because Byron, he's going to be in the slot, you know what I'm saying, taking Drake London's lunch money. So there's that. And then, like, the Falcons don't have much of a pass rush, you know, outside of maybe Matt Judon and Grady Jarrett. But I'm not too worried about those guys. You know what I'm saying? It was other guys getting the sacks last week against L.A. And part of me blames L.A.'s pass protection in the edges. You know what I'm saying? That and, you know, Jay Herb, sometimes he goes on to the ball too long at times. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I also blame that on, you know, him not always wanting to leave the pocket all the time. That's also a tendency he has. But other than that, I think the Vikings should be solid winning this game outright. But, I don't know. Let me know what you think, man. Till then, it's your boy Mav. Y'all already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for watching, tuning in with me. I'll see y'all for the next video. Deuces.